Did you have an update on the Nick story?
Yeah. Let me go into the Nick Diaz story.
So now that I understand it correctly, because like I said, you got me that day, and I was trying to pick up all the pieces.
Hmm.
He was taken from the rehab he's at in the United States to another rehab in Mexico.
No, I think he just got put into a rehab in Mexico.
So he wasn't, because I originally thought he went to rehab after everything that we had happened. One of the videos you had posted last year.
That was in Mexico. That video that was in Mexico.
I thought that video was in Vegas
Mexico.
when they caught him like on the street.
That was in Vegas, but when I posted that first update of him in rehab, right, we reacted to it on the pod. That was in Mexico.
So he's always been in see, and that changes everything too, because now we're not even talking United States laws.
Mm-hmm.
Like honestly, he could probably walk out, but the story is that he got kidnapped and forced into a rehab. So
No, the story. Okay, so,
well, didn't she say he got kidnapped?
Yeah. So here's what's been going on. Okay, so yeah, so we were just reacting to it raw at that time, right?
Yeah.
You're kind of right, but okay, we gotta do reading between the lines, because we almost can't rely on like what people say, because you got one camp and one camp. So she's saying he got kidnapped, right? But what a lot of other people are saying is that Nick is checked into rehab, and obviously addicts, they want to leave. They always want to leave. You feel me? And that's why, as long as Nate, like you had mentioned, Nate and Dana are paying for it, they're going to keep him in there. So a lot of people are saying this is for Nick's better good. This is a common story with addicts. They always try to leave. You know what I mean? And that's why the whole kidnapping thing came into place. She uses the word kidnapped. Really, Nick escaped from the rehab on his own, whatever the case, allegedly. And Dana and Nate are still paying for it, meaning that they're still requiring the services of that rehab, like you had mentioned. So they went back and they got him. That, I don't believe it was kidnapping. Again, we don't know for sure, but I'm reading between the lines.
Interesting, because typically, and this is also true, unless it's mandated by a court judge, that patient can leave whenever they want.
Even if it's getting paid for?
Even if it's getting paid for.
That would suck. I would think no.
Here's two. Because an addict needs, if they want help, they need help, unless it's court ordered. An addict, either because the people in the counseling, they need to have people that are going to surrender to start the program. You're talking to, like, an addict. I know plenty of addicts. Like, if I'm not going to want to give up myself, and want to actually like go into the program, it's a lost cause. The people that are there want to help people that are going to take it seriously. Because now you're becoming like, a distraction for all.
And I guess that's where they're saying, and I hear your points, and I'm taking your word for it, but I guess that's why they're saying, crazy shit happens in Mexico. So I know that you're saying all those laws, and I agree, but I guess those might be U.S. laws, and maybe I'm hearing that Mexico plays by different laws, where they're a little bit more like, nah, we're locking your ass in here for like 90 days, and you got no rights. I don't know.
That's what I don't know either. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how that's because at first I thought he was here, and then they took him there, and I was like, oh shit, that's crazy. But he was already there, and he tried to escape. Unless they're paying them, like you just said, money, maybe they are saying, hey, no, we're going to get your ass back in here, and we're going to drug you, and we're going to keep you here. That's a whole nother, and you're right, I don't know what they do down in Mexico when it comes to that shit.
Definitely. So I guess we don't know, but we're putting it out there. So, this is going to get some exposure, and maybe we'll get some comments for some clarity. To add to it, right, because there's more to the story. Somebody commented on the pod, it might have been Jew last week, saying she alleged that Nick's coach stole $200K. So I'm breaking it all down for everybody. You can make your own opinions. She said that Nick's coach stole $200K from him. Then Nick's coach came out and said, like, nah, Nick's doing good. He's single, and like basically he might be looking for a girlfriend or something like that. Basically denying all her claims and saying that she's crazy ex-girlfriend status. So again, but he's saying that after she accused him of stealing $200K. So who's lying?
Right.
Who's lying about who to make them look better? We don't know. I will say Cesar Gracie, because I know all the lore. Cesar Gracie has been accused several times of falling out with the Diaz brothers for malpractice with their finances.
So I saw that too. He posted something.
He posted something, and that was a response to her basically talking shit.
Right.
So we don't know who's telling the truth. But he has been accused in the past of stealing money, so-called.
And Nate still hasn't came out and said anything.
So I got some updates on that. It seems. So I've got some screenshots. So this woman sent me a bunch of screenshots. She might be a podcast watcher. So let me just read it to you. It says, I have screenshots of Nick Diaz's girlfriend's Instagram where she slams Nate for not supporting them and basically asks for a GoFundMe. She posted then deleted and saying they're homeless. Her and Nick. So unfollow me, I don't care really. These ones are crazy. Trying to control our life and tell us, okay, leave us with nothing, but none of you following me would be here without what Nick laid out. I've been here 6 years now. Let us have our own relationship. Let us feel paper money. Let us make mistakes and learn. I know Nick's wishes before family, really before anyone in his life. The actions affect me best before anyone else because I live day by day together next to each other. I have slept in parks with him, like she kind of mentioned before. When we have nowhere to go, I have ate cheese sandwiches together. Nobody rescues us. This isn't a fairy tale. It's real life. We aren't rich. We are poor. We ride around in my 2010 Ford Focus because everyone takes from us. But we have pillow talk. I lay with him in bed. Okay, so take everything from us, and Nick will come to me. So take everything from us, and Nick will still come to me. Take his house, leave him with nothing. We will live in a tent together before we are controlled by people we don't trust. Then she said, somebody else said, can you start a GoFundMe for you and Nick? Reading your story posts, I don't think people realize how bad it's gotten. And then she said, exactly, thank you. I don't because I don't want to disrespect his family, but they don't help us at all. So thank you. So somebody else commented, Nick has money and trust me, if he was in a pinch, his brother Nate would help out. They're brothers for life. And she responded, that's funny. Why? And then that person said, why is it funny? He won't help? And then she said, Nick and I are on our own, but that's okay. So she's claiming Nate doesn't like throw him money like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've heard Nick is paying for the rehab, but as far as throwing him cash, and that's a slippery slope because he can buy drugs. You know, one other comment she responded to, somebody said, maybe if you didn't do so many drugs with Nick the whole time you've been with him, he wouldn't be so fucked up. Both of you wouldn't be so fucked up living in a car, and you're a stripper as well. Stop doing drugs and life will get better. Get a real job instead of taking your clothes off. Nick deserves so much better. You both need help. She said, you effing a-hole. I don't do drugs. You something. I work 40 hours a week as a hotel housekeeper in a laundry room so Nick doesn't have to work at Walmart. And then there's these from yeah, and then there's these from Nick's jiu-jitsu coach or his recovery coach. So this is a guy who's been in Nate's corner, younger brother. So he's a close confidant of Nate.
Okay.
So she tagged him in a post and said, I said that Ruben Deal put those Xanax in Nick's protein shake before driving him over the border and forcing him into a facility where he does not want to be and has no contact with his girlfriend. Holy shit. I don't know if you just comprehended what I just read you.
Say it one more time.
They mixed Xanax in his protein shake before they drove him across the Mexican border and put him in rehab. Because obviously everybody knows that you have to be high to get checked into rehab.
Right.
You can't be sober. So he didn't want to go to rehab. He was staying sober. And she's saying that people drugged him and took him to that rehab.
Yeah, honestly, the more I'm hearing this story, the more I don't trust what she's saying.
So, okay, so let's keep going with this because that's what she claimed. And then the jiu-jitsu recovery coach responded. And he said, go away. You've done more damage than help. You need therapy yourself. You need mental health professionals to help you to heal from all the trauma and bullshit you and Nick been through. Stop posting shit about Nick fueled by your emotions. You are living in his house rent-free for years now. The least you can do is stay out of the way of Nick's family helping him get better and healthy. She says, really? Because the last I checked, I'm the one who kissed my lips on him and brought Nick back to life those days when none of you were around. And then the recovery coach said again, you need to find a place to live. And then he also said, instead of spreading rumors, you need to focus on finding another place to live. There's a reason why you are not allowed to be around Nick. You are a liability and a snitch. You've been deleted, but like a cockroach, you keep on keeping on with your bullshit. She says, and I think he's calling her a snitch because she posted that video of him last year that we posted where he was lighting the shit on fire. A lot of people said that was his girlfriend who posted that. Then she responded again and said, not allowed to see him? What's going to happen when Nick comes back to me, though? And then he responds, you so desperate to be with Nick, in all capitals, get in the back of the line. There's too many quality women available for Nick. Get a life. I should have kept you blocked and deleted. No man wants to be with a known sex worker, fool. Oh, I mean former sex worker. So now, a close fucking confidant in the family, Nate Diaz family, if he says she's a sex worker, she's a sex worker.
Yeah, no, I mean, it seems super toxic. It sounds like they probably did drugs together, and this girl's like already been on one, and and Nick, found the wrong one because
Two more, and then I know you got 10 minutes, so let me go two more, and then get your reaction. We'll get out of here.
Yeah.
She goes, really? Because Nick does. We've spoken several times about XXX, meaning X, that category stuff. And he goes, oh, I forgot you want to be a hardcore porn actress. Yup, do that. You are tailor-made for such a lifestyle, and that be awesome for Nick's mental health and recovery. Seeing you get wrecked by Five Brothers BBC. You are a class act when you are going to announce your porn debut. And then she says, we weren't talking, but I can't read that part. It got cut off. And then she says, Nick didn't have any money when I met him. His bank account had already been drained. He was $0. We left to Vegas and used my savings from working at the strip club all those years to buy flights, rooms, and food. I'm talking about the money Caesar took from Nick's last fight. That money should have went to pay down Nick's taxes or fix his home, not to line someone else's pockets. So they're saying Cesar Gracie stole from Nick from that Robbie Lawler fight.
A lot of laundry came out.
And she admits to being a stripper.
Yeah, it sounds like two things could be true at the same time. Sounds like maybe some other shady shit on this side, and he ended up starting doing drugs with the fucking scandalous girl and shit. And when you start doing drugs with and you get into that world, especially with someone that been stripping and shit, like it's a slippery slope, bro. It's a dark world, And you start doing dark things, and things start become normal, and she's probably still super toxic, probably still not sober, used to like living in cars and shit, fucking whatever money you can get, especially when you're a drug addict, bro. Like that shit's dark.
Yeah, it's kind of a scary one because she seems like she knows that she's got Nick wrapped around her fingertip. I guess there's some ways that they've had some communication over time, and he's still in that communication. And yeah, relationships are hard with that. The separation, people always keep going back. Especially
when you've been drug addicts together.
Yeah, that's the scary part.
It's almost like that Bonnie and Clyde, ride or die. You and me, babe. You and me, babe. And
they get each other a little bit more too than other people. Oh, yeah.
And you're just getting high together, bro, and just like in this crazy fucking high world, just you and me against the world. And you build this bond, but it's such a toxic fucking poisonous bond.
Yeah.
Hopefully that he's able to break it and get some sobriety, because when he gets out of this and he gets out of the fog and he can see the clear picture, he'll realize this is not for him. And hopefully his brother, I hope there are really some people behind the scenes like his brother and Dana White and whoever else, really helping, because this could be a really slippery slope.
Yeah.
Now that I have a bigger picture of what you're saying, I was at first like, oh damn, you got this, but now that I'm hearing who she is and what her background is, I don't trust what she's saying at all.
Yeah, and shout out Danny Jella.Cabrera for the information. Shout out to you, appreciate it. To wrap it up, this is what I will say. I also just read that all for the first time because it was a lot to like digest. I would say after reading all that, obviously I think that Nick is very private, right? Nick doesn't like to address his brother. He respects his family, and he's just very like.
It's a hard thing to bring up.
Yeah, so that's why you have his coach, and that's why you have his coach coming in and saying some shit. So I believe what his coach is saying. I believe that because I've seen like videos. Nick hangs out with this guy every day still. So I know that they have behind closed door conversations, and this guy went on his Instagram and kind of like aired out some of that behind closed door conversations he has with Nate. So I think some of what he said was a reflection of what Nate said, which is Nate probably feels like his brother needs to get away from this girl, right? And things of that nature. Obviously he exposed her for stripping, so that's obviously got to be true. Because again, he's close with Nate, so it's all got to be confirmed, or else he wouldn't be saying shit like that. Because then Nate's gonna be like, "Why are you starting rumors?" I will also say that it seems like she wants to, for whatever reason, right, get Nick back, and she doesn't care about his health and well-being. So that's really unfortunate. A lot of people were thinking that she wants to save her boyfriend, right? That's what the first narrative is. That's what she wants people to think. We don't know for sure, but let's just put that other side of it to where she might be manipulating people to get Nick out and like not be the one to give him the help he needs.
And here's the other thing too,
because I believed her on that first fucking like last week. I believed her.
Here's a flip side of all that. I've dealt with women who are addicts and fucking are already crazy. Mm-hmm. They live in a fucking imaginary world, bro. Like you talk to them like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, making things up in their own mind, and then you add drugs to it. It's almost like the CTE situation, but you add drugs to it. It's so toxic, bro. It's like I can smell that 1,000 miles away. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm smelling here.
Yeah. I can kind of smell it too.
She loony.
Yeah, it seems like it a little bit.